Good evening, all. It's just about showtime, and we're going to start in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good evening. My name is Michael Scott, and I would like to welcome you to the Broward County Public Schools Business Excellence Program. This course series is brought to you by the Economic Development and Diversity Compliance Department. I just wanted to speak a little bit about my role as a compliance manager. School Board of Broward County, they are committed to the inclusion of small businesses in all our procurement contracts. So as part of my task as a compliance manager is I track the compliance participation through various mechanisms, including our management system, to ensure that those prime vendors are abiding by the policies and affirmative procurement initiatives that were put in place. But none of that is important right now because we're going to kick off our second session of Business Excellence Program. This is an incredible business excellence program, and first of all, I just want you all to give yourself a round of applause for your commitment to excellence as a small business owner. So at this time, I have the great privilege of bringing to the stage the Director of the Economic Development Diversity Compliance Department, Ms. Denise Mincy Mills. Let's show her some love as she comes up.
Thank you, Michael, and welcome everyone. So happy to see everybody, and happy you made it. Mr. Mayor? Good evening, everyone. It's my honor and privilege to welcome you to Broward County Public Schools 2024 Business Excellence Program. As Michael said, I'm Denise Mincy Mills. I'm the Director of the Economic Development and Diversity Compliance Department. As small business owners, you are fully aware that funding is essential for sustainability and growth. As a small business owner myself, I understand that business capital enables you to invest in resources, market your business, hire staff, expand operations, and many other things. For these reasons, it is critical that we include today's course on the state of small business funding. This session and the entire course is central to our vision to spur economic development and support small businesses, minority, women-owned businesses, so that they can successfully expand in the marketplace. We know that you will be empowered today, this evening, with insight that will increase your capacity to compete in the marketplace. So thank you for being here and for attending this session, our second session of the Business Excellence Program. This program is designed to elevate, empower, and connect you for a journey of scalable growth and impact. I would also, at this time, like to acknowledge any elected officials that we have in the audience. Would you please stand? Thank you so much, Mayor. Also, I would like to thank Plantation High School and our principal, Ms. Cassandra Robinson, our volunteers, our exhibitors, and especially our staff. We could not have put this program on without them. Let's give them all a hand. And it is my pleasure to introduce Wayne Messam, Mayor Wayne Messam. He is one of our Business Excellence signature sponsors, and we certainly do appreciate that, Mayor. Mr. Messam was elected mayor of the city of Miramar in 2015. He is the city's first black mayor and is serving his third term. Mayor Messam is the current president of the Florida League of Mayors and a national trustee of the African American Mayors Association. Under his leadership, the city of Miramar has undergone significant transformation. With a population of nearly 150,000 residents, Miramar is the 13th largest city in Florida. Beyond City Hall, Mayor Messam is also a small business owner. He and his wife, Angela, who I know fondly, have founded Messam Construction in 2012. And they are both licensed general contractors and LEED accredited professionals. Mayor Messam is a prominent industry leader, and his firm is one of the fastest growing minority construction management firms in Florida. They have built projects in education, aviation, and the healthcare industry. Mayor Messam's commitment to public service and the small business community has twice earned Miramar recognition as Smart City and an All-American City. At this time, it is my privilege to present to you Mayor Wayne Messam, who I can call my mayor and my friend.
Thank you for that introduction, Ms. Mincy Mills. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the city of Miramar, we are proud to be one of the signature sponsors for this event. I'm standing before you today in my capacity as the mayor of the city of Miramar. And in terms of Messam Construction, the rock star really is Angela. So I know a lot of times they put a lot of the shine on me, but she's really the rock star for the company. The city of Miramar, we pride ourselves as not only as a progressive city, but one that tries to incorporate and get the best out of our small and minority business community. I'd like to thank the school board and Broward County Schools for putting on this excellence program. And by your presence being here, you are business owners that are needed to ensure that our students in Broward County have the facilities, infrastructure, and programs for student achievement. And your expertise is needed. I know sometimes it can be daunting dealing with an agency as large as the school district, but you have well and capable staff members here in this department that are your advocates, so use them. Don't take no for an answer, but know the game. If you're making demands, understand the policies. Everything that this department does is really to administer the policies that comes down from the school board. And guess what? Guess who's the boss over the school board? You are. So that means that you need to go to the place of work where they make these policies. By show of hand, how many of you actually attend a school board meeting? Right? Not many. Regularly. How many of you attend school board meetings when there are procurement items or policy changes that impact your certification? Are even aware? Don't you know from time to time there are adjustments to the policy? But if you're not there to advocate some of these changes which may help or hurt your business, your voice needs to be heard. So I'm encouraging you to not only to come to these types of events, but pay attention to the policies. Because when the policies are known by you, then you can provide the feedback to staff to state how these policies are either helping you or hurting you. And some of these issues and concerns are may not even known. But in the city of Miramar, a smaller agency, but we have a little purse ourselves, and we spend the taxpayer dollars as well to provide the quality of life for our residents and business community. Our city has a small business program as well as a minority-owned and women-owned business program, and we encourage you to look towards the city of Miramar to provide us your services in the city of Miramar. So on behalf of our residents, we thank you for coming out today. We look forward to your engagement, not only with Broward County Public Schools, but with the city of Miramar and the other municipalities that are also sponsors of this event. And I'll leave you with this thought. As a small business dealing and doing business with entities like the school district, do know that no one owes you anything. No one owes you anything. But what agencies want for you is the value that you bring to the table. I know sometimes we lead with small business, minority business, but at the end of the day, you're a business. And you're in business to provide a good or a service. So do it well. Communicate how you can add value to your clients. And then small and minority doesn't mean anything, because at the end of the day, they're hiring you for you and the services that you provide. So know your owner, pay attention to the policies, be a part of the process instead of just being on the table. So be active. So if you remember nothing else this evening, be active in the process. And by being here today, you have begun that journey. So good luck. Get all the information and resources that you need. And if you are interested in the city of Miramar, feel free to look us up at miramarfl.gov and register as a vendor. Thank you so much and enjoy the program.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. We are very appreciative of not only your commitment, but your welcoming spirit as it relates to doing business in Miramar. We really definitely appreciate that. And now I have the distinct honor of introducing our moderator for tonight's panel. Our moderator is Commissioner Melissa Dunn. Commissioner Dunn was elected to the Lauderhill Commission in November of 2020 and is the founder and CEO of MD Marketing Network. Her entrepreneurial skills and leadership are evident in her role as the former president of the Lauderhill Regional Chamber of Commerce. She established the Hibiscus Girls Leadership Academy to empower young women in her community. With a business and community activism background, she focuses on supporting small businesses and promoting health and wellness. Commissioner Dunn holds an MBA in Lean Six Sigma Green Belt from Florida International University and serves on several national boards. She's a champion of initiatives to boost local businesses and economic opportunities. I present to you Commissioner Melissa Dunn. Let's give her a hand.
Thank you, it's a pleasure. Good evening, everyone. How y'all feeling? What an amazing opportunity to have access not only to entrepreneurial information, but to all of you in this room. I'm happy to be here on behalf of my mayor, Ken Thurston, my vice mayor, Lawrence Jabo Martin, and the entire commission. I want to say I'm happy to be here. But before I get started, I want to introduce to you some students of my Lauderhill Shines program. So Lauderhill Shines, will you please stand? These are all business owners in the city of Lauderhill. Lauderhill Shines is a 12-week program that teaches entrepreneurs everything from the mechanics of starting a business, getting their business plan done, marketing, all the way to accessing capital and government contracts. So they have a class tonight. So I'm like, those of you who want to come here and learn, come on in. So we have cohort 9 in session, and then we also have some of our alumni here. So I'm really grateful. I'm going to introduce the panel, and this session really is about the state of small business funding. Let me see a raise of hands. How many of you here currently have a business? All right, fantastic. Keep your hands up. If access to capital is not a challenge for you, lower your hand. Yeah, that's what I thought. Thank you. Access to capital, based on the business owners that's been through our program, and there have been over 125 of them, the number one challenge that they all say they face is access to capital. And as a small business owner myself, I concur. So I'm going to introduce to you the members of the panel, and as we do, if you'll just step forward and take a seat on stage. So we'll start with Mr. Garcia from the U.S. Small Business Administration District's Office. Clemence Garcia is a lender relations specialist with the U.S. Small Business Administration South Florida District Office, where he also serves as the District International Trade Liaison and Project Officer for the Florida Small Business Development Center. With over 2 decades of experience in financial sector, Clem has a diverse background in banking, financial analysis, and investment. So he's a money guy, y'all. He began his career as a commercial banker with the Bank of New York before earning his MBA from NYU. He then spent 9 years as a financial analyst for General Electric, 15 years. Oh, were you there when Jack Welch was there? Yes. Oh, y'all know about Jack Welch, right? His differentiation tactics. So if you spent 15 years at GE, you must have been amazing. So please put your hands together for Mr. Garcia. Our next panel is Angel Leon. He is a small business development consultant. Now, Mr. Angel Leon brings over 33 years of diverse experience in the finance industry, specializing in consumer, real estate, and auto finance lending. A graduate of St. Peter's College in Jersey City, New Jersey, with a degree in business management, Angel has held multiple leadership roles across the financial sector, where he honed his expertise in banking operations and business management. Throughout his career, Angel has successfully managed multi-million-dollar businesses, leveraging his in-depth knowledge of lending and his proven secure leadership skills. His extensive expertise positions him as a key resource for business navigation and complex financial landscapes, as well as securing growth opportunities. So he can help you scale your business, all right? So we're gonna pay attention to what you have to say, Angel. All right, please put your hands together. Yes. All right, so Miss Dr. Lascelle Sweetland, did I pronounce your first name right, Dr. Sweetland? Okay, Dr. Sweetland is the director. He is the director of Business Entrepreneurship Project at Miami-Dade College, a federal grant initiative aligned with the mission of the Minority Business Development Agency. So this project promotes the growth of minority business owners by advancing public and private sector programs, policy development, and research. With a focus in small business economic development, Dr. Sweetland supports business attraction, expansion, and retention, as well as international business development and entrepreneurial training. Now, his work also provides access to capital, technical assistance, and resources to empower small businesses. Now, he has over 30 years of experience, and Dr. Sweetland has contributed significant to the development of entrepreneurial ecosystems locally, nationally, and globally. Put your hands together. And last but certainly not least, we have Mr. Philip Dickey. Now, he is the Senior Director of Resource Development at Miami-Dade College. He's also a seasoned professional with over 20 years of experience in grant development. His leadership has been instrumental in securing over $170 million in grants for Miami-Dade College in the past 2 years. Okay, did you hear that? $170 million in 2 years, y'all. Yeah. Correct? We want to learn those skills, yes or no? Yeah. For sure. So his expertise extends to writing and managing grants for education, healthcare, and community organizations. He also is a respected peer reviewer for federal, state, and local grant review panels, where he plays a critical role in assessing and improving funding proposals. That's a great skill to have, we need to talk. So, before joining Miami-Dade College, Phil worked in state government distributing funds and writing grants, and has a strong background in direct services as a caseworker and a substance abuse counselor. He's also a U.S. veteran. He holds an MBA from Western Governors University and a bachelor's degree in social work. So he is currently working on his doctorate in education. So please put your hands together for Mr. Dickey. Okay. All right, so Mr. Dickey, unfortunately, I'm not going to get to have you on my panel. You'll be in the next panel. So you guys got a preview of the next session, okay? I know you're going to stay for that because $170 million. So we're going to have a conversation, and here's my invitation to you in the audience. I want you to listen actively, and as you listen actively, I want you to think about some questions of your own. These experts, perhaps if you had a chance to have an individual consultation with them, right, it probably cost you a lot of money. So get your questions ready so you can join the conversation. How are you doing, gentlemen?
You?
All right, wonderful. So would you mind just give a quick 30 seconds, let's make it 90-second intro in your own words. Like what is it you love about your job, and what do you hope to see or share with this conversation today?
Thank you. First and foremost, I would like to thank Broward County for inviting our organization, inviting me. To basically share my knowledge and share our organization's resources. So what do I like? Coming from a banking background, my first and foremost is helping small business owners. I worked in commercial for some time, also residential, but mostly commercial. So my background is basically helping small business owners with capital, grow their businesses, and look forward to helping most of you, if you are here, with our resources and the programs that we offer.
Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Clemence Garcia, and you heard my background already, but I'm thrilled to have joined the U.S. Small Business Administration about a year ago. And I really love and enjoy the agency's mission of helping Americans achieve the dream of small business ownership by helping you start, grow, expand, and even recover your small business. And that's why I'm here today to let you know more about the U.S. Small Business Administration and how we can assist you in your small business.
Wonderful, thank you. Yes, Dr. Saffold.
Well, for me, I call myself an accidental entrepreneur, because when I started it wasn't even a word. It was just called the hustle. That's all we had to do. So my passion, I started out in corporate America, transitioned to starting my own business, and my mission has always been to help others. So the focus and why I fall into this role is because I wanted to make sure that everyone knows they're working on a business and not a hobby. And so I teach entrepreneurs to really learn fast and to know that the things that they're working on is actually generating some kind of revenue for themselves.
So basically, you help them figure it out and make money from it. All right, I love that. So, Mr. Garcia, my first question is really for you. Could you speak a little bit about what specific funding programs and resources the SBA offers entrepreneurs?
Sure. I brought some slides.
Okay, well, we'll come back to you
Okay.
with that particular question because I know you perhaps have the slide to show. So let's go to you, Angel. What are the key challenges that are facing small businesses right now as far as accessing capital?
That's a great question. I've been working for Prospera, a nonprofit organization now for 8 years. The business has been growing by leaps and bounds. We are expanding. I just want to just expand a little bit on what I do so everyone here knows. Into North Carolina, not only the state of Florida, but also North Carolina and Georgia. And we help small business either start, sustain, or grow. And we're not lenders per se, but we facilitate those loans. We help them with different, for example, can I ask a question?
Sure.
For example, does anyone here know what a CDFI is?
Yeah, we actually have a CDFI in Broward County. The Urban League has a CDFI.
The Urban League, of course. I'm familiar with them. So not too many. That's just programs that offer lending, more flexible lending as compared to banks. Although we have forged a strong, very strong relationship with different banking institutions, CDFIs, and other financial institutions to help small business owners for that same reason. We help them, and what I see on a daily basis is the lack of knowledge when it comes to applying for a loan. And I can go on forever as to the amount of information that it's not provided or they do not know. For example, starting with credit. A lot of clients that I see do not know how to either start their credit history, or improve if the credit is not where it needs to be, how to get it there. We do that. We help you with, I don't like to say repair credit, but we help you get where you need to be with helping you with your credit. Also, I have clients that have started with us without any credit whatsoever, and probably within a year or so,
Right.
they're already CDFI ready, for example. CDFIs obviously have lower FICO scores and actually less requirements than a bank, but that's a step to get to the banks, right? So we help them with that. We, in the South Florida office where I work from, we generated $24 million in small loans in the last 5 years. So a substantial amount for a five-office employee.
Okay.
So
And most of that loan was through CDFI as a source,
I would say
or also
20%
mainstream?
of that is through DFIs,
Okay.
and the other through banks. Yes.
So for those folks that are in Broward County, where is your office located?
Our office is located in Doral.
In Doral, okay.
Yeah,
All right, perfect.
in Miami-Dade County.
Wonderful. So
And-
it sounds to me like I'm hearing you say that you really help small businesses get loan ready.
Exactly, that's what
Okay.
we do. Well, a lot of times, and something that I'm seeing, and I want to say it, something that I'm seeing, and it continues to repeat itself in every client that I sit with, no one wants to, pay taxes, right? What happens when I see the tax returns? 3 years in a row, net loss. Obviously, no one, I'm a business owner myself, but we must change the way we think if we want to access capital in the near future. And that's what we need to do. We need to see cash flow. You need to see some positive net profit. We need some, because the banks, that's what they're looking for. So it's important that everyone understands if you have to pay taxes at the end of the year, it's an indication that your business is doing well, right? So I think we have to change the way we think. Even our accountants, the first thing they tell you is, well,
Write it off.
write it off.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I have a follow-up question to that, and then I'll move on to the next panel. So for someone who is just maybe in the startup phase of their business, could you perhaps, and maybe each of you can answer this, because I know this is what you do every day, from your perspective, right? Could you maybe offer 2 or 3 things that they should be doing right now to prepare themselves to really be loan ready?
Okay, good question. Number 1, start establishing credit with a credit card. If you're young,
Credit in their name or the business name? Both?
Well, if they're already a business owner, you mean?
Yeah.
Without any credit, they have to be under the business, obviously.
Okay.
And actually, I would say both.
Okay.
Obviously, a lot of times when you apply for a loan, the first thing they look at is personal, right? Before they even consider a business credit. So I would say start with a credit card, and a personal credit card, and then you work from there. A lot of times, for example, my kids started very young. I was co-signing with them for the car. So they're establishing credit. By the time they're 18 years old, they already had established credit. Something that is very important, and that we don't put enough weight on that, I think. And it's important that we get into the habit of helping our children and moving them to the next level once they're ready to access capital. So that's important.
Okay, so one tip is really start to establish credit. What tip would you offer?
I always say before you need money, you should be preparing for the ask. And what I mean by that is don't wait until you need a loan to start preparing for a loan. So I concur with what he said. Preparation is key. In my position, my grant is a Department of Commerce grant, and it's a 4-year grant at Miami-Dade College. And the purpose of the grant is to help businesses, actually individuals start businesses. So we wrap the program around 4 initiatives, right? 4 courses, which is Intro to Lean Startup, Intro to Entrepreneurship, Marketing Your Venture, and Funding Your Venture. So the 4 pillars of starting a business, funding a business, and marketing a business. And so we prepare you. If you just come in with a napkin, with an idea, going through those courses, you will have the foundation to start building. And the key is preparation, and without preparation, you fail. So going out, getting resources. I think a key thing is coming to events like this, tapping into a larger network. One of the big things I say is do things that make you uncomfortable, right? Because if you do things that make you comfortable, the same thing that happened yesterday will happen today. So maybe meet someone you haven't met before, read a book, get some internal learning, maybe go in and do a finance course, come take a course at Miami-Dade College. Most of the courses, certifying courses, are grants, so you could actually take a course for free. But do something you would normally do and kind of step outside that comfort zone. And before you know it, you'll have the knowledge, you'll have the background. You come to events, and then you expand your network. And you don't want to be the smartest person in the room, right? So if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room, right? So just expand your network and do things that make you uncomfortable. And so, I ask my business, when my business owners come in, I ask them, what did you do that was uncomfortable today? How did you expand your network? What did you learn differently that didn't you know from yesterday, right? And the key is, it never stops, right? Business never stops. You never stop learning, right? So you always have to continue to keep pushing the envelope and to get as much knowledge as you can.
Wonderful. Wonderful. How would you answer that?
I would recommend two things. First, for all the business owners, think in the long term of, as if possible, making your banker, your local banker, your advocate. In other words,
That's
establishing
good.
a long-term relationship with your banker so that they know your business and you know them. And with that, you essentially make them your advocate so that in that 11th hour when you suddenly need capital and you've established this relationship and this dialogue with the banker and they know you and your business, then they could advocate for you at their credit committee. So you want to think long-term and, if possible, develop and strengthen that relationship, that dialogue with your banker. The second piece of advice I would say is for each small business is think about having a strong BAIL team, B-A-I-L, a banker, an accountant, insurance, and a lawyer. That's the team that you're going to need to surround you in helping your business flourish.
That's really good. So here's the challenge with that sometimes. For a small business that's just starting up, being able to hire that team can be a challenge. Does any of your organizations offer that service or consultations with the BAIL team that folks could access?
Yes, we do. Because of our relationships that we have forged strongly with different financial institutions, including banks, we do that. We facilitate. Not only we facilitate, we get you ready for it. We teach you what the different reports are. So by the time you get to the bank, you pretty much have it done. And we're the kind of, what we do is get you together with the banker in-house. That's what we do.
Gotcha.
We normally, if you apply for a loan, for example, with Prospera, the internal process is we get 3 banks in-house. Not all at the same time for obvious reasons, right?
Right.
But we do get 3 banks, whoever comes up with the best offer. And the client's got to be there. So the client is constantly learning because the banker is there along with us, which are consultants, right? We help them with accounting. We help them by the way, we have also grants in the form of subcontracted services. So we help them with marketing, with accounting. We help them with branding and social media platforms. We also have business planning. We also have marketing and sales plans.
And this is all free?
That's free of cost.
Okay, and wait, what's your number? Isn't that what y'all are trying to know? Like, how do we reach you, sir?
Okay, so we have an office in Doral, and I think my information will be provided to the invitees.
Tell us your website or your Instagram.
It's at www.ProsperaUSA.org.
ProsperaUSA.org.
There you go.
And for those of, because Doral is a drive from Broward.
It's a drive. We can do it virtually.
Okay, so that's good to know. That's really good to know.
Our consulting can be done virtually as well.
Wonderful. So, sir, what types of grants do you have available for nonprofit? Oh, okay. Yes, right? Yeah. What kind of grants do you have available for nonprofits and for-profits?
Share. Well, Miami-Dade College doesn't provide grants, but what we do, we partner with our community partners that do provide grants. So that we do workshops with our community partners where we have people that are interested in grants. They'll come in and educate you on the grants that they offer. So we provide that network. Look at us as a resource. From time to time, I'm located at the Meek Center on 63rd and 7th in Miami, part of North Campus. And from time to time, we actually have free workshops where we'll have someone from legal, someone from accounting, someone from marketing, and they'll just make a presentation, right? It's an opportunity for you to learn something for free, but the only thing you have to give up is your time, right? And you have to be present at the moment. So we offer all those resources as part of the program to help you be educated. And it's not only for students, I mean, it's for the community. We're based in Liberty City, so we're trying to attract the community as well, to educate them on how to start a business. So when you see it, and we post it on social media, so when you see it and you see an event that sparks your interest, definitely come out, and so you'll be able to have access to those resources for grants. So I've seen grants for profits and nonprofits.
All right, that's good, that's good. Okay, so I think I'm ready for you to answer that question now. So maybe we can pull up the slide. I'm curious what specific funding programs the SBA offers.
Great. Thank you very much for the opportunity to talk about the SBA to everyone. So first, for those of you who are not aware of the U.S. Small Business Administration, welcome. We're the federal agency, the only federal agency that was founded in 1953, but focused on small businesses, again, helping Americans achieve the American dream of small business ownership by helping you start, grow, expand, and recover your business. Next slide, please. We'll go into who's eligible in terms of the financing, but just quickly to answer one part in terms of the state of small business. The South Florida District Office of the SBA, we cover the 24 counties south of Orlando. And that district office in fiscal 2023 did just a little over $2 billion in SBA guaranteed loans just in South Florida in fiscal 2023.
20s.
And
wow.
we just closed in fiscal...
With a B, with a B.
With a B. And in fiscal 2024, which just closed, we were up 25% to $2.5 billion in guaranteed loans, again, to South Florida. So one way of answering the state of small business in South Florida, at least from the SBA and lending to small businesses, is thriving and is open for business. And within that, there's been more loans to minority and women businesses as well within that subsegment.
I like that.
So now, who's eligible for SBA financing and assistance? Just quickly there, your business must operate for profit. So unfortunately, nonprofits are not eligible. You should be considered a small business as defined by the SBA. That's about 500 employees or less, but it depends on the industry. You just have to check that with the NAICS code of your industry. Be engaged in or propose to do business in the United States or its possessions. Have reasonable invested equity. All the 20% or more owners in that business must be willing to personally guarantee the loan. And very importantly, you and your business must not be delinquent on any existing debt obligations to the U.S. government, taxes or student loans as an example. Next slide, please. Other types of businesses that are not eligible are those businesses involved in sexual materials, speculation, gambling, life insurance, nonprofits, as I mentioned, lenders, passive-owned real estate, foreign business, pyramid sales, and as I mentioned, defaulted on a federal loan resulting in a loss. I would also add in there, while cannabis is legal in some states, at the federal level it is not legal, so therefore businesses involved in the cannabis business would not be, could not avail federal assistance from the SBA. Next slide, please. How does the SBA help your small business? Think about the SBA in the 4 C's of the SBA: counseling, capital, contracting, and crisis. I'm going to focus on counseling and capital for the duration, or just to go quickly through it. Next slide, please. The SBA has a resource partner network in terms of counseling. All of our resource partners provide you free, confidential counseling and or mentoring to help you and your small business grow. There's over 1,400 partners nationwide. Next slide, please.
So actually, we have a couple of minutes left.
Okay.
So do you have a slide that shows specifically what loan products you have?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll just quickly fire off the 4 partners that you want to go to here in Florida. Women's business centers. The one nearby is the Florida Women's Business Center at flwbc.org. Next slide, please. The Small Business Development Center. Here in this area is the SBDC at FAU, and you could look up at floridasbdc.org to find out more. Next slide. Score.org is the largest network of business executives that can help mentor you and your business. At score.org, that website has tremendous resources for webinars and templates. Next slide. And for veterans, the vboc.org for service veterans and their spouses. Again, all 4 of those resource partners, free confidential assistance to you, your business, contact them. And then now, in terms of the financing,
Yep.
after we've gone through who's eligible and who is not, next slide, please. The second C is capital. Next slide. And just to be clear, the SBA is a guaranteed loan program to the lenders, right? The SBA guarantees loans to the lenders so that they could make loans to small businesses who might not otherwise qualify. That means you, as potential borrowers, you apply to the SBA lenders in your area, not to the SBA.
Where do they find a list of SBA lenders?
At the SBA website or at your local. Most of the lenders are affiliated with the SBA, but you will want to check with them if they are SBA lenders, but most of the banks in Florida are, as well as online. Next slide, please. And as I was saying, the lender makes the credit decision. So you can apply to several lenders for the same loan that you're seeking because they each have their own terms. Next slide, please. So it's a little small there, but from left to right, you, the borrower, submit the application to the lender, not the SBA.
Yeah, I might want to take a picture of the screen here.
And by the way, the slides will be available in PDF to all those who are registered, so you'll get a copy emailed to you tomorrow. On the second box, yeah, oh, I'm sorry we didn't mention that earlier.
All right. So, go ahead.
I'm sorry, so just quickly, the lender underwrites the loan request, not the SBA. In the third box there, the lender decides whether they will use the SBA guarantee, and then the lender submits the application to the SBA. If the SBA accepts it, then the lender closes the loan. So I just want to be perfectly clear about, you as borrowers go to your SBA lending institutions and apply there, and then you work with the lender works with the SBA. Next slide, please. So the first of the 3 kinds of SBA loans is the microloan, up to $50,000, up to 7 years. Again, depending on each lender and their terms. It's good for working capital, machinery, and equipment, but not for existing debts, and you cannot purchase real estate with it. The second type of loans, and in that slide, again, you'll get a copy, but it shows who some of the local micro lenders are in Florida, which
Great.
we'll go into lenders.
They'll see that, yep, continue.
The second program is the SBA's flagship program. It's the most popular program, and it's the most flexible. It's called the 7A loan program, and that's from a federal statute, 7A. But that's up to $5 million with terms up to 10 years and up to 25 years for real estate. It's the most flexible program, and the 7A loan can be used for working capital, commercial real estate, machinery and equipment, to refinance current business debt and change of ownership and business acquisitions. So it's sort of like the Swiss Army knife of loans, and that's probably the loan that most small businesses will go for.
Eventually, right?
Yes.
Once they're ready. So,
And the third and final,
okay.
next slide, is the 504 loan, and that is for long-term fixed assets, up to 10 years and up to 25 years for real estate, for owner-occupied commercial real estate, machinery and equipment, not for working capital or refinancing debt.
Wonderful. So thank you so much. Please give this panel a round of applause. So what I heard about the possibility that getting prepared is an important piece, and certainly Miami-Dade College have courses available that will help you to get the skill set that you need in order for you to be successful as an entrepreneur. I heard that getting loan ready is critical, and Prospera is there to help with that. And then, of course, the SBA has relationships that will help you to scale and access capital. So I would like to say as well, one piece that we didn't mention is something that we're starting in Lauderhill in January 25. For Lauderhill businesses, we're going to be doing a Kiva Hub, which will provide up to $15,000 of zero interest loan to Lauderhill businesses. So thank you. I appreciate it. Please give this panel a round of applause.
Thank you.
Don't go anywhere. Don't leave the stage so fast. We are going to take at least 3 questions from the audience. If you would like to, let me pass this to you, I guess.
I think I could probably.
No, because we want to.
Yes, how you doing? I am Coach Robert Moore, owner of You Transform Fit, a part of Lauderhill Shines program. And one of the criteria that you said was to have an invested interest. Could you elaborate a little bit more of what that invested equity, I think is what it said?
Sure. Essentially, you know, as they say, that you have skin in the game. So typically, let's say for a loan, a lender would like to see that you have 10% down, as little as 10% down, or some can ask for more, 20 to 30% down of the thing that you're seeking to finance.
Is there another question from the audience? Yes, sir. We're bringing you the mic.
Thank you. The SBA guy, yes, sir. You mentioned that I need to have a bail team, a banker, accountant, a lawyer, and what's the I?
Insurance?
Insurance. Thank you.
While we're waiting, if I may, the one tool you want to look at the SBA website is called Lender Match. So in addition to your local community lender, if you go to the SBA.gov website and you look in there for Lender Match, there you could check out all the lenders who have been vetted by the SBA, so they're all SBA lenders. You put in your information about what you're seeking in your business, and within 48 hours, you'll get a list of those lenders who may be interested in financing what you're doing, and you choose who you want to speak to.
It's powerful, powerful. How's it going? I hope all is well. My name is Tariq Muhammad, owner of Opulent Transport. I'm also part of Lauderhill Shines Cohort 9. This message is for Dr. Sweetland. I did write down some notes here, and I see that you obtained several grants, and that seemed to be your forte. So I wanted to know, what is the most important thing to put to be able to obtain them grants, and how you do it, pretty much?
Good question. Good question. Just like if you're getting a loan, you have to be grant ready, right? All the things you would think about the loan, right? To make sure your paperwork is in order, you have customers, you have a story. It's the same process, right? So if you are in business making revenue, even if you're a nonprofit but you're doing services, I've seen grants where they're asking, you could have an idea on a piece of paper, and they'll give you a seed grant, right, just to formulate your business, all the way to you're generating revenue and you're looking for, I saw one the other day, they'll give you up to $100,000, 3% interest. Well, that wouldn't be a grant. They would give you money to expand your business even further. So the recommendation I would give is there are grants out there available. Maybe you don't go for the $50,000 grant right away. Maybe you go for the $2,000 grant or the $5,000 grant, where all you're doing is telling them your concept and your story, and you get that grant, and then you build your business, and you apply for more grants and more grants. But it's the same process. You got to be grant ready, right? They're going to want to see that you're registered with the state. They want to see that you're actually in business, doing business, generating some kind of revenue or having some kind of impact. If you're a nonprofit, you're doing some kind of impact. You don't have to have a building, but if you're doing workshops at a local school as part of your nonprofit, you're having impact, right? So you don't have to, have the business and have the building and have the hard assets, but you have to be doing something within the business, and you have to be exist in the state, right? If you're a nonprofit, you got to be nonprofit status. If you're a for-profit, you're registered with SunBiz, and you have some tax returns. You have to be legit. But for grants, there's grants out there for anything you could imagine. There's so much money out there, but you have to be ready. And nothing taught us better than COVID, right? We were all playing business until COVID came along, and they said, you want this money, you got to show us you're doing business. And a lot of us wasn't ready for that, right? So, you don't want that to happen to you again. So he mentioned about if, show some profit, show that you're actually in the game and you're not just working on a hobby. And the same thing with grants, right?
So I'd like to contribute to that. Don't leave out the possibility of your local or county government. Broward County, for example, just had a small business grant of $2,500 that's available. I don't know if the application is still open, but $2,500. And a lot of cities also offer grants. My city, for example, we have a facade grant that we offer to property owners to fix up the property. We have in the city of Lauderhill, in addition to the Kiva Hub that we are launching in January, we also have a microloan program that is attached to an educational product that's almost like a part 2 to Lauderhill Shines. And when you complete that program, you're eligible to apply for a $10,000 forgivable loan, right? So in the city of Lauderhill, we're offering a lot of support to entrepreneurs. So please feel free to start or scale a business in my city. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's give our panel a big round of applause. We would like to present a certificate to each one of you. The certificate reads, this certificate is presented in recognition of your participation in the 2024 Business Excellence Program. We express our gratitude for your invaluable insight you provided the local small business community, and we thank you for your dedication and contribution to our program. So the first certificate, if you would just take your certificate, we're gonna line up and take a beautiful photo to post on social media. Commissioner Melissa Dunn, Mr. Angel Leon, Mr. Clemence Garcia, and Dr. Lascelle Sweetland. We're going to take a picture. Again. Okay. Mr. Philip Dickey. Well, you heard about him already, but I'm going to let you hear it again from me. And I have to take this point of personal privilege. I was on the Board of Trustees for Miami-Dade College for 7 years, so I'm pretty fond of whenever I see Miami-Dade College folks in the building. So it's my distinct honor and privilege to tell you a little bit about Philip Dickey. He is the Senior Director of Resource Development at Miami-Dade College with over 20 years of experience in grant development. Under his leadership, Miami-Dade College has secured over $170 million in grants in the past 2 years. Let me say that again. $170 million in grants in the past 2 years. You do not want to let him get out of this room without talking to him. He has expertise in education, healthcare, and community grants, and is a respected peer reviewer. Really? That's what we're doing? A respected peer reviewer for federal and state funding panels. Before Miami-Dade College, Phil worked as a caseworker and substance abuse counselor in state government. He's a U.S. Army veteran, and he holds an MBA and a bachelor's degree in social work, and is pursuing a higher education doctorate. Phil is also a sought-after speaker on grant strategies. Philip Dickey's extensive experience in both direct service and grant development has made him a key figure in advancing educational funding at Miami-Dade College. It is my honor and privilege to present to you Mr. Philip Dickey, who's going to give you some very valuable information regarding grants. Mr. Dickey. Your name was very easy to pronounce. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All righty. I tend to move around a lot. How's everybody doing? All right. Well, my mother wrote that introduction, so, and later on she's going to want me to take a selfie of everybody. So you heard everything about the $170 million. Right now we're up to about $50 million for this year. We got about another 6 months to go, so hopefully we'll hit 70 or 80 for the year. I've been doing this for 20-some years. I do want to tell you the backstory how I got into this. First of all, how many nonprofits are in here? Any nonprofits? Okay, we got a few nonprofits. Okay, that's going to be the grant side of the house, pretty much, right? And then how many for-profits we got? All right, good. Okay, so there are grants on the for-profit side, but usually what you're going to hear about is people putting out competitive procurement opportunities. They're going to say they're looking for contracts and things like that. So you may not hear the word grants, but you're still going to write a proposal. Okay, so we may say it's a proposal or a grant on the nonprofit side or on the college side, but the college sometimes will advertise and say, hey, we're looking for people who can perform custodial services, and that's going to be, they're going to say, give us a proposal, and they're going to have a whole application for it, and it's going to look just like a grant application. Okay, the two are very similar. So if you can write a grant on the nonprofit side, you can write an application on the for-profit side. So I want to tell you kind of real quick how I fell into this, because I don't have a whole lot of time. About 20 years ago, I got promoted. I was working for a state agency, Department of Children and Families. I was in the behavioral health side of the house, so it was mental health and substance abuse. I just got promoted, okay? And I was really happy. I called my mother. I said, I got a new job. And she was happy for me. And I got a phone call. And it was a guy from up in Washington, D.C., and he was a program officer for the Department of Justice. And he said, hey, my name's Tim Jeffries. I'm going to be coming down to Florida, and I want to take a look at the program that you guys are operating. So my job was to fund programs out in the community. Like I had $16 million. We used to give it out. So we would get grants. Sometimes the state wouldn't, and we'd give them out. So he said, hey, I'm going to come down. I'm going to check out this program that you guys wrote a grant for. Now, remember, I just started this job. I didn't write that grant, okay? I didn't write it. And the person before me had, funneled the money out to the community to be able to do the program. So I said, oh, no problem. I just started and stuff like that, but I'm really happy to have you come down, and, hung up the phone. So fast forward, I called up the providers, the people that are supposed to be doing the program. I said, hey, we got this guy coming down from the Department of Justice, and he wants to see the program. And they said, we're not doing that program. We're doing something else. And I said, oh, Lord, I'm about to get fired, right? But then I said, oh, Lord, this guy works for the Department of Justice. They have handcuffs, right? Like I'm about to go to jail. And by the way, I do have to tell you, when Mr. Garcia said the word bail, I had all kinds of thoughts in my head. I was like, I was like, oh, Lord, here we go again, bail. So I called my mother. Yes, that's what I do. I said, Mom, I'm about to go to jail. And she said, what for this time? And I said, it's not even like that, Mom, okay? That was one time. I was 15 years old. Anyway, so I was panicked, and I called Mr. Jeffries, and I said, look, sir, I just started this job, and I found out that, the people aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing with the money. He said, okay, and I had put a stop to the money going out. He said, not a problem, we can talk about it when I get there. I got out my track shoes, right, my little Adidas. I laced them up. I said, you must be crazy. You think I'm going to be here when you get here. So, I would have to be really stupid to fall for that one. But I fell for it, and I stayed. And he came and he visited, and he said, okay, let's go over to the drug court, and let's see what's going on over in the drug court so that, that's where the money was supposed to be going. So I went over to the juvenile drug court, and I sat there, and so did he. And the judge all these kids coming forward were, smoking weed and stuff. And the judge said, we don't know what to do because the kids don't see it as a problem, and we don't really have any treatment providers out there that can treat it, so we're not sure what to do. So Tim looked at me, Mr. Jeffries, and he said, there's a program out there called Cannabis Youth Treatment. Why don't you combine that program with the drug court, and it's been shown to be effective, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, cool. He said, so look, go back, and what I need you to do is I need you to rewrite the grant that was submitted, and I need you to get that to me in 2 weeks, and if you do, I'll go ahead and give you a no-cost extension, your money will continue, no harm done, blah, 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 and you'll have this like $3 million for the next 5 years or so to do this program. I said, cool, no problem. So I went to my office, and I cried because I didn't know what a grant was. And I was like, I don't even know what a grant is. So I opened up my desk drawer, and there was this is back when paper was a real thing. These weren't electronic, this was 20 years ago. So there was this huge binder with the grant in it. I'm talking, this thing was like 150 pages. And I said, oh my God, what am I going to do? And I called my mom, and she said, you're my son, I love you, you're going to be fine. And I went ahead, and I opened it up, and it said, tell us what the problem is. And I said, well, the problem is we have 13 to 17-year-olds who are using cannabis, blah, 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 who can't find sufficient treatment, who da-da-da-da-da. And it said, tell us who you intend to serve. And I said, oh, we intend to serve, and I went through it. I said, oh, this isn't that bad. This is what? Answering questions. Just answer the question. And after that, I went, another 20-some years, and here I am today. We've done the 170 million, but I would say in my career I've been able to do probably about $1 billion or so, if not more. So it's easy, y'all. It's easy, okay? I'm letting you know that because I know some people look at an application and they start sweating the same way I do when I hear the word bail. Thank you, Mr. Garcia. I still have fear of that, I tell you. So anyway, we're going to go through this very fast, okay? I'm going to talk quickly because there's a whole lot of slides on here, but we're going to get through it, and I'll be available for questions, and you're going to get the slide deck. But anybody know who 50 Cent is? Okay, he said many years ago, people say I talk fast, but I say you just got to listen a little faster. So that's what we're going to do, okay? All right, so if you could go next slide, please. All righty, I told you more about me. I want you to get to know some of the funders. Next slide, we'll go right into it. Okay, go right on. That is me as a kid, by the way, right there. That's me, as a child. All right, there's different types of funders out there, okay? You heard about the Small Business Administration. They are part of or underneath the Department of Commerce, I believe. So the Department of Commerce funds the Minority Business Development Administration. You've got the Small Business Administration. They have the Economic Development Administration. You also have These are all federal agencies. You've got Department of Transportation out there. You've got the Housing and Urban Development, HUD. You've got the Department of Education. You've got the National Science Foundation. So there's tons, probably about 1,000 federal agencies out there. A lot of federal agencies. You've got state government agencies. You've got the Florida Department of Education, the Florida Department of Revenue. You've got the Florida Department of Agriculture. You've got a lot of different federal. You've got Department of Children and Families, Department of Justice. All these on the federal side and on the state side. You've got local government agencies. I heard Commissioner Dunn say about the local government. So you've got your Children's Trust, you've got the Children's Services Council, you've got the Broward County government, you've got every single city. So think of all your cities in Broward County. You got Lauderhill, you got Fort Lauderdale, you got Plantation, you got Sunrise, you got Pompano, you've got, Dania Beach, you got Hollywood, all these cities. Then you got your private foundations, individuals, and corporations. Here's the differences in all these funders. If you want the big dollars, who are you going to go to? Federal government, okay? But that's going to be big dollars for both grants and for contracts, okay? You want a big dollar grant? Of course, Department of Defense. Now you might, how many people in the audience make missiles? Nobody, okay. So we'll skip Department of Defense. Actually, we won't skip them. You know why? You may not make missiles, but they are looking for other types of things a lot of times. They're looking for people who might be able to provide the warehouses that are going to house the missiles, okay? Sometimes people go Department of Transportation. Anybody here make roads? No? When you're driving down, you see all the construction, though. Do you see all the porta potties? Because they have to go somewhere, right? Okay, maybe you have a business that is a porta potty business. And so Department of Transportation might post that they're looking for somebody who can provide the porta potties. The same with the state. The state sometimes, just recently, they said, we're looking for somebody who can wash a fleet of cars. You have a car wash company? Well, see, and they have an ad. I'm going to tell you where to go to. You go on there, you put the application, you might find yourself having a whole fleet of state vehicles to wash and to detail, hook them up. They be riding down the road looking pretty, So federal agencies, big dollars. Here's the thing about the feds, though. If you're going for those dollars, you're competing against a lot of other people. You're competing against people all across the country. State government, you're usually competing against who? Usually people in Florida, usually. The reason why is people like to stay local, right? If you're a politician, you don't want to be telling people that we gave a big contract to a company up in Connecticut or Delaware or whatever. You want to say we're keeping the money in the state. So you're competing against less people. It may not be as much money as the federal. Sometimes the money comes to the federal, goes to the state, and then they hand it out. Same way with grants, both sides, okay? Sometimes it passes through, that's what it's called. Local government agencies, that's your Children's Trust, that's your Broward County government. They look for things too. Now, they're looking for a lot of human services sometimes. They're looking for people to take care of the elderly. Sometimes they're looking for people to provide drug treatment services. Maybe they're looking for people to do lawn care, to take care of the parks. They might, whatever they might want to outsource, they're looking for contracts. Then you have your private foundations, corporations, and individuals. So, on your way here, you probably saw a whole bunch of grant opportunities. How do I know that? Because if you drove by a Coca-Cola sign, guess what? Coca-Cola has a foundation, okay? How many people here get their electric from FPL? All right? FPL has a foundation, okay? If you can see a company, most likely that company has a foundation. If that company has a foundation, they give out grants. Okay, that's all you got to do. Look around, find it. Most likely, they have a Cinemark, the movie place. They have a foundation. You like the Academy Awards? You have the Motion Picture Association. They have a foundation. Those are all grant funds that you can find out there. Every single city government, you can go to their website and you'll find different grants. They may have like a neighborhood beautification grant where they're giving dollars to help. Maybe you wanted to be able to paint your building. Maybe you wanted to be able to put new storm shutters on it, things like that. Those are all grants out there. FEMA, every time there's a disaster, you have FEMA grants out there. Not just for individuals to help with your houses, but to help with businesses. And they're contracting with the businesses. Next slide. All righty. How do you perform a grant search? Well, first of all, Google is my friend. I think of anything I want to search, and I basically punch into Google, and I say, car wash business grant funding, car wash business contract opportunities. If I had a home where I was taking care of disabled adults contract opportunity, disabled adults funding opportunity, teenage delinquent grant funds. And that's how I start most of my searches. You also have places like grants.gov, www.grants.gov. I need water, otherwise I'll be messed up here. State of Florida. It's called My Florida Marketplace. Very good, thank you. My Florida Marketplace. That is the place where you go if you want to do business with the state of Florida. All right? You can be for profit. That's where you're going to find it. Nonprofits, you're going to find your stuff there too. And you can search it by if it's a grant opportunity, if it's a sole source, if it's a request for proposals, an invitation to negotiate. All those are the same thing. They're all grants. So My Florida Marketplace is where businesses can go. Any city website you go to, you can go there and go to their purchasing or procurement department. You're usually going to find opportunities there for services and grants. The other one a lot of governments use is called BidNet. BidNet, they're a private company, but a lot of your governments, city governments contract with them. Now I'm going to tell you something. Anybody here ever go to Indeed.com? Okay. Here's the thing about Indeed.com. You can go there, it consolidates all the different jobs into one area, right? And you can search. Problem with that is everybody else is doing it, right? You're competing against everybody else going to Indeed.com. Plus, the job usually doesn't show up on there for a day or two after it's been posted, wherever it's been posted, wherever they're pulling it from. If you can get to the source, you've got a leg up, right? Like you're ahead of the game if you can get to the source. So I tell people a lot of times, yes, you can go to BidNet and you can find where the school district is probably advertising for vendors, where Miami-Dade College might be advertising for vendors. But if you go directly to their websites, you're going to be ahead of the game because it's going to be posted there before it posts on BidNet usually. You'll get at least a 24-hour head start. Same with grants.gov. You see how I put Federal Register up there? The Federal Register, 99% of the time, is going to post grant opportunities a day before or 2 days before they go on grants.gov. All right? Okay, next slide. Everybody here, we heard about taxes earlier, right? So people file taxes. All right, don't tell on yourself. But anyway, so there is nonprofits and foundations that give out money. They are required to file tax forms, okay? If you're a grant-making organization, you have to file a tax form. Like United Way. United Way has to file a tax form. Miami Foundation has to file a tax form. The Broward Community Foundation has to file a tax form. Those are called 990s, all right? And you know how people always say you can tell a lot about a person by looking at their taxes? You can tell a lot about a foundation by looking at their taxes. If you want to know who they really fund, can you click on Candid, the little top thing right there? Right, and if you go right to Peacock Foundation at the top, yep. And if you go to Show Forms 990, so there's a website called GuideStar.org. GuideStar.org. www.guidestar.org. Totally free. You sign up for it just like anything else. You give them your email, make a password. I don't know why they have you make a password. It's not like you're putting your bank information in there. So when you go to this website, you make the password, you get in there, you can then see a grant-making organization's 990. If you click on the 2023 990, it will open up. By the way, they have really slow internet here. I'm not sure if they're looking for a new internet provider, but but if you're an internet provider, go to www. Okay, so if you scroll down on their 990, you get a lot of information on here, all right? One of the things you're going to see if you go more toward the back of it, keep scrolling, keep scrolling, keep scrolling, keep scrolling, keep scrolling, keep going, keep going, and keep going a little bit more, and you're going to see some columns pop up here in a second, right there. Okay. This right here tells you the Peacock Foundation, it's a smaller foundation, it's down in Miami-Dade County. It's on Ponce de Leon, Joel Allen runs it. This tells you right here who they give money to, okay? So if you're sitting there like, I I don't know how much to ask for. I don't know if they fund what I like, what we do. This right here tells you they gave money to Bridge to Hope. They gave them, looks like $39,000 there. They gave money to Casa Familia. They gave money to Central Matter Child Care. And so if you notice, it tells what they gave it for. So every single grant-making organization has to do a 990. They have to tell who they gave the money to and how much money they gave. This is really important if you have a nonprofit and you're trying to figure out who should I go ask money for, and somebody tells you, well, you know, the Peacock Foundation. And you go, well, I want to learn more about them. I want to know who they fund, what they fund, where they fund. Because sometimes somebody will tell you, well, they don't give money in Florida. Right? Coca-Cola money, it doesn't give any money in Florida. And you go look at their 990, and you find out that they're giving all over the place. American Express, how many people have an American Express card? Okay. How many people charge too much on it? No, yeah, no. Okay. How many people can't wait for the interest rates to go down? Okay, so, you know, so American Express, they're located here in Broward County. They have one of their headquarters. So they give grants out. The American Express Foundation, they give grants out in Broward County. All right, if you can go to the next slide. And that is guidestar.org. All right, so now, when you write your application, and this applies to contracts, this applies to the grants. When you're writing your application, something really important here. There's some pet peeves out there that people who review the applications have. I review applications. I get called for federal applications as well as state and local. So I'm one of those peer reviewers, okay? It's a little side gig I have. If you do this, there's some pet peeves. This right here is my brother's cat. I'm not lying, and guess what? You see that cat right there? It looks exactly like my brother. He's got the little teeth and everything, like, yeah. His cat's name is Pookie. So, if you do not respond to the question, in other words, I can't tell you how many grants I read where it says, please tell us what you would like to do. And guess what the person says? The ABC Foundation was, my company was set up in 1932, and we have 23 employees. We're very proud to be located. Will you just answer the question? I said, what do you want to do? Okay, the reviewer doesn't want to sit there and have to read through 2, 3, 4 paragraphs or pages to figure out what you want to do. How much money would you like? We've been around for 23 years, and we always make sure that we try to be good stewards of whatever is given to us. We tried to do this grant, and we've done this, and I'm like, would you just tell me how much money you want? Okay, I don't want to read through 3, 4, 5 pages. There's a TV show coming on. I want to watch it, you know? So answer the question. Some people think you have to give a whole lot. They say, well, I just don't seem like my answer is sufficient. If you answered the question, it's sufficient, okay? Like, you don't have to build it. Do not make people go around the block to get across the street, okay? Remember that. Don't go around the block to get across the street. Just go across the street. Just answer the question. Next thing is, if you answer in the wrong section, what's your name? Well, I live at 590 South. No. I didn't ask you that. I asked you your name. So just answer the question. Have somebody else sometimes go back and look at it and tell you, did you answer the question? You know the debates that are on TV? And what does everybody say about the politicians? Would you just answer the question? Okay, like they don't answer the question. Long narratives with no break. How many people have ever looked through papers, right? And you're like, would you just give me a break? So if you're a reviewer, the last thing you want to do is be going through and all you can see is words. Break it up a little bit. Throw in a table, throw in a diagram, right? Throw in some type of little data visualization. Do something that gives the reviewer's eyes a rest. If you're able to use colors, not super bright colors that hurt the eyes. Like at Miami-Dade College, we use, we call it MDC blue. So everything we do is like different shades of blue, because that's our color, our logo color. So when we do grants, if we make a table, we try to do the little outline on it in a light shade of blue, something that's kind of appealing. So when the reviewer scrolls through it, because reviewers do, they have these online now. They usually don't have paper. So they're going to scroll through your application for services or your grant, and they're going to look at it and they're going to go, is this going to be a fun one to read, or is this one going to make me wish I'd never been born? And they're going to scroll through it and they're going to see, and if they can see the nice little shades of blue, if they can see little page breaks with some diagrams in there, maybe a picture of my brother's cat, any of that stuff right there, they're going to like you more. Okay, one thing you want is a happy reviewer. You don't want to use acronyms too much. Okay, we don't want to say the SBA was here and they talked to USDE about DJA and don't use all those acronyms, because your reviewer won't know what they mean, they'll forget what they mean. If you do use an acronym, like if we say Miami-Dade College and we say MDC later on, about 4 pages down, I go back and I say Miami-Dade College again. Okay? Because they're going to forget what it stood for, and you don't want them having to thumb back through the page. So remind them, okay? Remind them who you are. Remind them what you're all about. Don't use old data. Don't use old sources. Don't talk about stuff. If somebody says, give me the latest statistics on juvenile crime in your neighborhood, I don't want to talk about, well, in 2001, a local survey found out. Well, that's 20-some years ago. I want to know what's current. Now, what if you don't have current data? Tell them. Tell them. Say, unfortunately, current data was not available. However, and give them the next best thing, okay? Better than not giving them an answer, or better than trying to, excuse the word, BS them. Don't BS people, okay? If you don't have an answer, don't give a whole bunch of fluff, because they're just going to get upset and they're going to say, you know what, they didn't have an answer. They just threw anything in here. So don't do that. The other is, not citing your sources. If you get something from a certain source, make sure you tell who the source is, okay? This isn't my thought. I got this from so-and-so. If you're going to cite data, don't say, U.S. News and World Report or People Magazine. People Magazine had a really good article about juvenile delinquency. Right, but where did they get the data from? Go to a good, credible source. The other is plagiarism. This is a big one these days, and I'll tell you why. People are using artificial intelligence now, right? However, the verdict is still out about artificial intelligence and whether or not it constitutes plagiarism. I tell my staff, I have about 6 grant writers that work in my office, I tell them, use AI to assist you, use it to give you a good idea, a good starting place, but then make it your own. Okay, my secretary loves to give me things that she's generated by AI, because she, sometimes she gets a little, she doesn't have confidence sometimes. She needs to get more confident. She's really good, but she sometimes doesn't believe it. So she'll generate something with AI, and I can tell right away. And I say, Pam, just go and, this is great, but go make it you now. Okay, make it you. And that's what you have to do. If you're going to use AI, make it you. Don't plagiarize. Next slide, please. I know I got to hurry here, right? Make them smile by making it easy to find your responses. If they ask how long you've been in business, right, and you're giving an answer, try to make the 56 years, the 23 years, put it in bold, or underline it, or put it in make it italics. If there's a certain point you want to make, emphasize it by putting in bold, underline it, put it in italics. Now, you should not open up the thing and see all bold on one page, all right? So be smart about your use of stuff, right? Moderately. The other is a nice format. Make sure the formatting looks good. Once again, scroll through it when you're done and say, does this look nice? Does this look sloppy? Does this look like something I would want to read? Use current data, use tables, use diagrams. Tell a story. Tell a story. There's nothing wrong when reviewers are hearing all this technical, there's nothing wrong with telling them how you started your business. Tell how you made that first dollar. Tell what that dollar meant to you. So do those things. Next one. Okay, so we are going to talk now about what AI can do for you. How many people use AI? Oh, pretty good amount of people, all right, use AI. AI's been around since, remember when Microsoft, I'm giving my age away, remember when Word had the dancing paperclip? I miss that paperclip, don't you? Like, I still, it's like beepers. I wish we were talking about beepers earlier. Who had a beeper? I had a beeper when I first got it. I put it in my pocket and the thing vibrated. I thought it was short circuiting. I thought it was catching on fire, like I was being electrocuted or something. And remember the old joke was like when your girlfriend would come up and she'd say, "Who's Lascelle? You better tell me who Lascelle is." Nobody remembers that joke? No, okay. The beepers, when the battery went low, would say Lascelle. So yeah, it's like, anyway. All right, so ChatGPT, ready? Go ahead and if you can click on ChatGPT there. It's amazing what AI can do. If I type in here right now, do you have the keyboard? Can you type in, please, chat, please tell me 5 possible funders for a after-school program. Located in Florida. And it pulls it up, the Children's Trust. If you scroll down, it'll give you more, right? You can sit there and you can pull a list of grants. I did this the other day, and time's not going to allow me to do it here. I try to squeeze everything in. You can pull a list of grants and say, of the abstracts, let's say the short little story about the grant, and say, chat, please tell me what the 5 most common activities were in these grants, or the 5 most common categories. You could pull a list of people that Department of Transportation has funded, and you can upload it, because now it allows you, if you notice that little paperclip there, it allows you to upload files. So when you upload the file, you can say, can you please go through this file and tell me what states or what cities received the most funding and what their projects were. How does this help you? Because if you know somebody received funding, you might be able to approach them to see if your business can receive part of the funding that they received. That's the other thing. Remember they were talking about credit and things like that and trying to build your business and build your grants? Sometimes the way to do it isn't necessarily to go for the grant yourself or to go for the contract yourself. It's to partner with somebody else. Small Business Administration, I bet you love partnerships, right? They love partnerships. Almost, if you talk to a nonprofit organization, if you talk to a corporation, if you talk to an individual philanthropist, if you talk to a federal agency, they're all going to tell you they love partnerships. They don't want to reinvent the wheel. Okay? They don't want me to say, well, I can do it better than that person right there. I can do it better than Dr. Sweetland. What they want is Dr. Sweetland and Phil Dickey to get together and say, guess what? We've joined forces. He does this real well. I do this real well. Can you please give the funds, to us? And then we go ahead and they do a sub-award or whatever. Sometimes you might go into the Children's Trust and say, look, this is the type of business I operate. I know I'm not big enough yet for you to give me money, but can you let some of the people who are big enough that you do give money to, let them know that I'm available to come help out at their after-school program. I'm available to come show younger people how to have a car wash and car detailing business. I'm looking for apprentices. I'm looking for these things. And then you become a part of their grant, whether you're a for-profit or a nonprofit, you can still benefit from it, and that's how you start growing your business. I had a person once tell me if I had $1 million, if I got $1 million grant, I'd be okay. And I said, Mathis, no, you wouldn't be. Well, guess what happened? He got $1 million grant, and he was so happy. Problem was 98% of his business was tied to what? That $1 million grant, and it went away after 3 years. So what do you think also went away after 3 years? his business. Okay, you don't want to get $1 million grant. You don't want to get $1 million from the SBA for your business and have to start paying it back, but your business hasn't grown to the level to be able to pay it back. So the thing you want to do is get it in proportion to the size that you are or the size that you might project yourself to be realistically in the next year or two. And always, always, always check with your friends, check with your colleagues, check with your partners. Have them review your work. Have them look at what you're doing. And let's see, next slide. I think I'm there almost. I might have actually timed myself pretty good here. It's rare. And next. All right. Remember something with AI. I'll tell you this real quick. The next big jobs out there, because my grant writers always think they're going to lose their jobs because of AI. I tell them the job is going to be prompt engineer. Prompt engineer. What is that? It's how you frame the question. Okay, those are going to be the next big jobs out there. You can ask AI a lot of things, but if you don't frame the question correctly, you're not going to get the best answers. So sometimes you have to go through and ask it again, then ask it again, and after a while you start figuring out like how to ask a very specific, detailed question and get it. And it'll take the information it gives you, by the way, it'll make diagrams for you. You can say, can you take what you gave me and make a diagram out of it that shows the whole chronological steps of my business from, a process from start to finish. You can do that and it'll generate it for you. And you can say, can you put that into an Excel format? It'll put it into Excel and allow you to download it, and you'll have it. Pretty cool what it can do. It's a game changer. I think that's it. Let's see, next one. Yes. Anybody got questions? Everybody's just like, yeah, I got a question. When do we go eat? Yes, sir. I don't know if anybody's back there to bring you a microphone, but. Usually, if it's a legit site, you normally aren't going to have to be a federal contractor to look at it. If it's, I tell my boss all the time, you have to be because sometimes they want you to buy stuff or whatever, or they want you to pay them to help you become a federal contractor. And there's enough grants out there, like Dr. Sweetland's area, there's other grants out there that they will provide the technical assistance to help you become a federal contractor for free. Yeah, remember that. Usually if somebody's trying to charge you to become a federal contractor to get your paperwork together, usually they're just trying to charge you to do something that you could get for free. All right, there's people out there that, will charge people to do their FAFSA, their federal aid form for student aid. It's free. You can get help for free. You can come to the college. We'll do it for free. There's people that charge thousands upon thousands or hundreds upon hundreds of dollars, and you can get it for free. So remember something. Before you pay somebody to do something, go to ChatGPT and say, ChatGPT, are there organizations or what organizations out there will help me to complete a federal contractor application that are nonprofit or that are free? It'll give you a list. It'll tell you, just vet it, look at it, and but I have to tell my boss all the time because she gets emails and she'll say, oh, Phil, this thing, they want us to register or whatever. And I'm like, no, that's a .com, that's spam. They're just trying to, they're phishing, spam, don't fall for it, So I think that's it, right? You're trying to push me off the stage here? Oh, okay, because that happened to me at the Apollo once. They pulled me, yeah, okay. All right.
So we would like to present the Certificate of Appreciation. The information was phenomenal. It really was. It was phenomenal. We will make sure that everyone gets the presentation. We really appreciate you, and thank you so much. We would like to give you this presentation certificate. Yeah, might not want that in the picture.
I almost couldn't get back up just now.